What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we're taking a look over here at the Bitcoin price chart, which is above $36,000, along with the altcoin market, where we've seen Ethereum crack above $2,000 at the highest level it's been since back in April of earlier this year. Meanwhile, seeing the total market cap of crypto break above the height of the preliminary support that was set back in here during the Luna crash back in May of 2022, as that sign of strength has been pushing it higher to get above that preliminary support. Today, we have poked above there for the total market cap of crypto. It's been a wildly volatile morning. If you caught markets in the morning, we actually saw Bitcoin get as high as almost $38,000 alive. Then a quick pullback, quick move down in the altcoin market, including XRP going with it. Meanwhile, Ethereum does the opposite, getting above $2,000, certain to cause an uproar of anger and frustration amongst XRP holders. But it's just the name of the game. It's how the things work. They rotate around. They do their thing. Positive signs to see in here. 1, Bitcoin getting above $36,000. 2, Ethereum getting above $2,000. And 3, the total market cap getting above $1.3 trillion. All of these are positive signs. But of course, just like I made in the video yesterday that I put out, sometimes people get extremely caught up in the moment, the day-to-day, instead of zooming out and looking at the big picture, which is what I tried to do in yesterday's video. But even before this pullback happened here, just moments ago, any posts that were made over there on Twitter was, why is XRP not moving? Why isn't XRP going? Bitcoin's going. Why isn't XRP? And again, that's that mindset of living in the day-to-day, the moment, the second to second, which is why I made a video yesterday, very dedicated to bigger time frames and looking at underneath the hood, and specifically even looking at XRP. This is a great thing to see over here for Bitcoin, to see price getting up. Great to see it over there for Ethereum. Great to see it over here for the total market cap of crypto, beginning to attempt to escape that sign of strength, get above that preliminary support, and hopefully send this thing back up into retracement levels. So this morning was met with, so far at this point, a breakout happening, followed by a back test. That's really all we have so far today to go off of, is to say that's what it was. A big old breakout, a very violent back test. Now we'll see if we can V-bottom our way out of here over the next day. But I spent some time talking about this in Markets in the Morning today, and I figured we'd talk about it in a little bit of a YouTube video format as well. Just kind of like open speaking, open ranting, and talking about the price behavior of what we have with Bitcoin right now. It's clearly obvious when you look at it. The thing reversed a long time ago. Back in, December of 2021, I put out a video really defining that the bear market had started for Bitcoin. I titled it, The Bear Strikes the Bitcoin Price Chart, in which I kind of outlined all my different ideas on how a bear market would look for Bitcoin, which up for debate if any of those scenarios ended up playing out. But the idea was we're in a bear market for Bitcoin in December of 2021. Of course, leading up to that moment, having anticipated what the peak would look like. We all know that. But to kind of pay tribute to that moment back in January here of 2023. So this year, 10 months ago, when price broke up, made a video called The Bull Strikes, which you can see right here. The Bitcoin Bull Strikes from January 14th of this year, January 14th of 2023, paying tribute to the 2 years ago video of The Bear Strikes, which was posted on December 6th. Of 2021. But as of right now, it gets a little bit more obvious. Price is reversed. The wall of worry has been climbed. And just visually looking at it, you can just see the thing reversed, and it reversed a long time ago, right? Essentially back there in January when the bull strikes the Bitcoin price chart. The hard part about that, of course, is in those moments, the vast majority of people are going to think it's going to go lower. They're going to sell low to get lower, just like the peak. They're going to buy the top because it's going up, so it's going to keep going up. But now we've bounced back. And, really my theory for the market for the last year and a half, 2 years has been, we'll go into a retrace eventually. I presented lots of controversial opinions that I don't think that Bitcoin will go back into a new all-time high, but that what we are witnessing is a retracement that's happening for Bitcoin. The further up we climb, every time the euphoria comes back into the market, the question gets reiterated again. Do you still think we're only going to be retracing, or do you think we're going into a bull market of brand new all-time highs? A lot of that, of course, is probably due to a lot of people kind of getting off sides, a lot of people not willing to touch the market, but then they're willing to get back in, but they only want to get back in if they think it can go like rampaging really high. But the reality is, most of the, cold hard reality is most of Bitcoin's retracement is actually already done. Off the lows, Bitcoin has gotten as high as 145%. And if you went back into all retracement levels at this point and you just were not willing to touch this market at all any lower, and you just kept 12K in it, screaming it as loud as you could, hoping it would eventually come true, even at this point, right now, to get back into retracement levels, you're looking at, 20, 30, 40% if you even do end up getting this high. So the vast majority of the move for Bitcoin has been completed. And then now we start entering the whole danger zone of Bitcoin. And while I've given a lot of confidence that Bitcoin would be able to recover and head back into retracement levels, I've also presented those different ideas on where those situations could start to get a little bit sketchy for Bitcoin. And now we're finally starting to get there. This is finally the moment where retail is going to lay down their guard. They're going to start feeling confident in the market that they can buy in and everything is safe. But things do start getting a little bit more complicated for Bitcoin in particular, the higher that we do go now that we're getting up here. You've seen me compare this against Ethereum multiple times over the years, and that we know Bitcoin's bounce of where this has all happened really at the same location that it did for Ethereum. You can see how it gets down here to this 786 retracement below the previous all-time high. That is what we did for Ethereum down in here back in 2018, below the previous all-time high, back to the 786 retracement. Then went back into a bounce and into a retracement up in here, right? If we zoom in on Bitcoin and zoom in on Ethereum, seeing where that happens at, it really happens where the capitulation breakdown starts to get going right here. That similar level for Bitcoin is really, really close to where we are right now. It's somewhere here between 38,000 and 42,000, 43. This is like the ultimate doom scenario for Bitcoin. I've really even tried to present this over the years that, the people screaming for 12K for the last year and a half don't really realize what they're screaming for. But even if you were the ultimate bear on Bitcoin and you thought it was going to go lower and you were going to get to buy really cheap prices, that this was actually the setup that is like your ultimate doom for Bitcoin. I'm certain I have shown these comparisons on at least 2 to 3 to 4 dozen videos and live streams throughout my career. And so what I'm saying here is this market is clearly, obviously looking like a reversal right now. It's like, hey, it's now the start of the bull run. No, this thing bounced and has been bullish really since January. Almost a whole year of bullish price action has been happening here for Bitcoin. Thing is, the wall of worry had to get climbed and the washing machine had to happen along the way. And now we're reaching that level of comfort. But what we clearly see here is that Bitcoin has gotten back now into those levels that were the levels of this comparison, of this price behavior for Ethereum and Bitcoin dating way back, that you are now getting there. I posted a tweet this morning over here on Twitter before markets in the morning and stated that I've sold 50% of my Chainlink and 50% of my Solana. Both have been great rides, but have now reached levels of concern for me. Bought during fear-mongering, sold during euphoria. It's the name of the game. I'll let the remaining 50% continue to ride for now. So why would I decide to do that for both of those assets this morning? I discussed this in markets in the morning, and really it's just where the Chainlink price is. I actually like Chainlink when it comes to developer data, developer activity, and social media engagement, but the price of where Chainlink is at has been a problem child for most of the market. Looking at most assets, especially all the big caps in there, if they even have had any type of rally, we can see that they have struggled as they get back into those April prices, those pre-Luna collapse levels that they just haven't been able to crack through there. That's where we are with Chainlink, and that's the level that, for those who have watched in markets in the morning, all the talk of Chainlink, they've seen the tweets over there on Twitter, the Wyckoff accumulation, the spring phase, boom, sign of strength, escape, boom. That's the level where the market has really struggled. What is significant about this level, about this April 2022 price level? That's exactly this. That's exactly what we're talking about over here with Bitcoin and where the price has gotten to right now. It's where most assets have all struggled at, if they've even had a chance to catch back up. That breakdown right here, that's here for Ethereum from 2018, just a technical level that is difficult to get through. So while Chainlink did look like this, the story for Solana was actually a little bit different. I've made videos about this. I've talked about this in Markets in the Morning, and the similarity of the crash that actually happened for Solana compared to the crash that actually ended up happening for Ethereum back in 2018. Same consolidation levels that happen in here. They both go for a 4.236 extension and then crash down to the same levels. The play on this was 97% crash. Seen it before. We saw it with Ethereum in 2018. Price has finally gotten all the way up. This was the level. This was the trade that I made for Solana. Took it. Still own 50%, but this was the idea of the whole trade. And since we've gotten back here, hey, it's time for me to pull it. It's not the same as what we're talking about there with Bitcoin. It's not the same of what we're talking over there with Chainlink, but specific to itself, it also happens to reach this level at the exact same time. That's its own thing on whether or not there's confluence that happened there, but it did reach the level of what I was looking for to make me happy enough to take it off the table here for Solana. Of course, we know there's lots of FOMO in Solana. Everybody's chasing to buy into the top. They didn't want to touch it at the bottom. FTX, they're going to crush us. It's totally a joke. It's nothing. Then everybody wants it all together at the exact same time, right as the trade comes to a conclusion. So hopefully this thing keeps going. I'm cheering for it to keep going. I wouldn't hold 50% if I wanted the thing to collapse on itself. This is just the price level where it's time for me to take it off the table. And I'm really happy to have the success on that. That was a 350% play right there, whereas Chainlink was about 150%. But as seen, there's been a lot of struggle throughout most of the market being able to get through that April level right there. That also has confluence with what we talked about over here with Ethereum, and we've talked about this for years. Now, that is not actually my base case for Bitcoin. I still think we actually do have higher than that to go. The biggest area of interest for me is actually right over here. Back in the earlier part of 2022, closer to that $50,000 price point, once we start getting closer to like the 618 and the 702 retracements. I've shown this before over there in Markets in the Morning, and I don't think I've actually shown it here in a YouTube video, but we've talked very frequently about, where the peak of Bitcoin came in, the peak of Ethereum came in, and Ethereum Classic. They all come in there at that 4.236 extension on their market caps. Came up shy on the price charts, but the market caps nailed it. Why? Because we have inflation that happens in these assets. And one of the really interesting things about the 702 Fibonacci retracement level is really what would happen in the event of us actually getting here and why euphoria would happen, like we saw at the peak of the market, where everybody's YOLOing in because we're going to 100,000. Everybody's panic selling and getting out because we're going to 12K back in November, right? Why would there be extreme euphoria for crypto? Why would it hit mainstream media? Why would they lure in retail investors, grandmas, grandpas, moms, dads, stepbrothers, stepsisters, your long lost cousin? Why would they all lure them back into the market right here? What would be the narrative at play? And it's that the 702 Fibonacci retracement level just so happens to be $1 trillion. For the market cap of Bitcoin. Right on the money. It gives a ton of stuff to talk about, a ton of content, a ton of excitement, a ton of euphoria to perfectly nail a top. And so when you have a retracement, typically from what I've seen in this market is retail investors pile into the retracements. It's even what we saw happen in here back in May of 2021, where retail piles in. This is where I'm getting text messages from people telling me they're buying Dogecoin, and Elon Musk goes on Saturday Night Live right at the retracement level, and then the market tumbles on itself after it gets back to the retracement. So there's certainly a narrative there at the 702. Is it just so happens to be $1 trillion for the market cap of Bitcoin to really lure people into the market at that exact time? That is still my base case. But I do acknowledge that we've now risen so much here in the market cap, up 145%, that to get there, right, there's 35% remaining. Those who have not ridden the whole ride up and are FOMOing in for Bitcoin are left with this problem. And as of right now, that problem sits at about $51,000 to $52,000 for Bitcoin, which is only 35% more. And we've already seen 145% here in Bitcoin. So a lot of people may just choose to say, yeah, you know what? I'm not willing to chase the whole thing with my bag to get there. Maybe take a partial point of it out right now, chalk it up as a victory from the lows, and maybe give a little bit of it a ride to shoot up there. But in the event that it breaks back down to like $27,000, and it's like, okay, not looking good. But one of the reasons I still think we'll see more price action in Bitcoin is simply because we haven't gotten there with a total market cap yet. Like, just we're not even close to even being to the scary level, right? Which is way up in here at like $1.8 trillion for the market cap. That's the scary level. You still have another $500 billion to go up there. Unless if like Bitcoin just stalls and it's just altcoin mania for the rest of the time. But even so, over here on total market cap, right, if we got up to a 702 retracement, it's like a $2.2 to $2.3 trillion. I find it hard to imagine like Bitcoin not being somewhat involved in that, which is why I think there's still more left in this thing, and the $1 trillion landing right on the 702. But you can go chart that out for yourself to see it. I gravitate much more towards that. And of course, right, I'm presenting like bear scenarios, right, where all we're going to end up getting is a retracement. But I mean, it really shows you it's a round number. It's like, okay, can't get through the round number. What if I'm wrong? What if this thing does break out? Maybe that's the fuel that it needs. Maybe that's where we get to. It stalls out, and then the breaking upon that is what sends that narrative in mainstream media. Either way, my thesis for all of 2022 and all of 2023 has been to get back to a retracement. We're getting into them, and while people will scream on the internet, hey, we're finally starting a bull market for Bitcoin, these things in the stock market do still exist, and there has never been a new breakout into all-time highs to start a new bull run for Bitcoin without the assistance of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, ever. The NDXT, or the NASDAQ 100 technology sector, still struggles at the 702 Fibonacci retracement. Likely would want to see this guy at least get through retracement levels, but it too is struggling right there. And so as we find our way out of the next range, and as the excitement returns back to the market, again, the primary focus for Bitcoin on this channel is going to be the retracements now. And just based on where Bitcoin already is right now, and where the total market cap of crypto is at this point, it seems like the more exciting action will likely be in the altcoin market. And if you noticed, I probably haven't talked very much about the volatility of today. We've seen a lot of green. We've seen Bitcoin as high as 38K. You've seen a fallback. But the reality is this could just be a violent backtest and open interest wipeout, because the level that we've come back to backtest here after breaking out earlier today is actually just the peak of preliminary support over here, and that we've done nothing but come back and break out from it earlier today and then backtest right now. So I'm not going to address this action really too much unless something crazy happens in here. Otherwise, this could just very well be a quick backtest of an actual breakout that happened today. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of make a little reminder video as the excitement kicks in, as you see people on Twitter screaming that we're starting a new bull run, Bitcoin on its way, ETF, all kinds of cool stuff. The only reason people would scream that a bull run starts right now is if they were offsides the whole time. And then the chart makes it look very obvious to them that clearly price action reversed a long time ago. So that means, we're starting a bull run right now. We've been in the retrace all year. I personally do think this is going to be the big problem child of Bitcoin. 48 to 52. But I think there's a whole lot more work to do here for the remainder of the market, as Bitcoin's already way ahead. And still, I think the excitement is going to emerge from the other sectors of the market that are still behind. So potential target one of Bitcoin's retracement is being reached. I speculate the level is closer to 50,000, but in the event of Doomtown of Bitcoin, this is about how high it should go, which would likely mean, the rest of the action in this market, it's going to be the ones that have been lagging behind. And, we saw an interesting phenomenon actually happen in the market today, that the second that Bitcoin topped here, suddenly Ethereum broke out from $1,914 to $2,040 and still sits above there. And there might be a dynamic shift that is actually happening here right now. And I think there's a lot of confusion out there on how this market works. And my altcoin's the best, yours is terrible, this one can't make it because mine has all the utility and all the everything that it needs. But the reality is Ethereum's always played a role in it. Ethereum breaking out is a very good sign for the rest of the altcoin market. And that's a very interesting dynamic to have happened right there, that this break really happens right after Bitcoin ends up topping. and then just continues to hold even though Bitcoin takes a really big tumble back down, right? Like Bitcoin goes and takes out all this price action from right here, whereas Ethereum says no, and as XRP continues to torture. Which is normal, but definite good signs to see action happening in regards to total market cap breaking out from the preliminary support, back testing, Bitcoin above $36,000, Ethereum above $2,000. We're just waiting for the great rotation for this guy. So no panic yet on that move. Normal to have a backtest happen after a breakout does occur. Same story is over there on the total market cap of crypto. That's a violent backtest happening in there, at least as of right now. But be mindful of wishing that this is anything more than a retracement for Bitcoin, as we don't have that same element over there in the stock market, nor in the technology sector of the market. The narratives will get very strong. There will be lots of FOMO. There will be lots of people thinking we're going to new all-time highs because all the content will tell them that. And the whole ETF thing will tell them that. This time is different. The story is different. Just remember, every single financial product that has been released for Bitcoin has marked a reversal, whether that was 2017's Bitcoin futures, whether it was the Canadian ETF, whether it was the ProShares ETF, or it was the ProShares Short ETF. Every time an ETF gets released or a financial product for Bitcoin gets released, it marks the top or it marks the bottom. If it even does come out, I would certainly over here on this channel, I'll be treating it as that's the top signal. The narrative out there is, well, there's so many salesmen, there's so many financial planners. Don't you understand? They'll be compensated to get people to buy the Bitcoin ETF. Like, really? Like, is that what Bitcoin has come to now? Is that what it is now? Like, the bull thesis is that Wall Street salesmen are going to have people buy the Bitcoin ETF, and that's the bull case. Like, is that really, that's really that's why we own Bitcoin now? I don't buy it. So if we get it, that'll be the amazing thing too. If we get the ETF launch right here, right at the peak of a retracement, and it ends up happening, right? I think they anticipate it's supposed to happen within like 55 days. Is like I'm not a pro at that, so I'm not guessing that, but that's what I see all over Twitter, that we should have like the approval happen within 55 days. How amazing would it be if it happens right here? Look, magical unicorn, fairy dust, puppet masters pulling the puppet string, got her simulation. It would not surprise me if at a 1 trillion market cap, the 702 retracement, the ETF gets approved and that marks the peak. So that'll be a good news confirmation thing if we end up getting it. But otherwise, keep your eyes out for retracements. We're getting close. First one's being reached right now. Price action still does mirror that currently, so long as this low does hold and we just kind of keep grinding and holding our lows down here and marching our way up. We're still mirroring like 2020's big run that happened in there, where we just kind of kept on marching. We've shown it like this, even this equivalent move right here gets us back to the 702. So this could be the way in which we do it. And this price action doesn't deviate us away from that. Just having, a breakout today and a back test today, that doesn't deviate away from any of this. But if you're a big Bitcoin person and you're buying into the narratives, and I get them. I get it more often in the live streams. People asking me, "Is your opinion changed on, are we going into a bull run now?" And I think it's just because more content, right? We've had so many content creators saying we're going to 12K, 23K, 20K, 16K. All of those will fade, and everybody's reward mechanism, the incentive to create content, will now be make bullish content. If you make bullish content, you're going to get the views. There's an incentivized reason to do that, right? To get views. And so that messaging will get really strong and really loud, and it'll start eating away at our thoughts, right? Which is the opposite of what happens when the market is scared, right? The incentivization is to create bear content, just like we do down here. The incentive for the second half of 2022 all the way up until recently really has been to create that bearish content. That's what people want to hear, who have sold to buy lower, or the market starts getting carried away a little bit. And it's like, hey, don't worry. You're going to get your chance to buy back in. Now the incentive structure has changed to where creating bullish content is more popular. Meanwhile, we've been making bullish content for a year and a half. And this one's almost considered bearish, right? And it's not so much being like, hey, everything is bearish right now, but it's kind of just like, I'm very aware that when we crack through here, when we broke through there and we got through $32,000, that's where the emotions of the market changed. I'm very aware of it. So I just try to keep things in check. But just be mindful. Don't forget about this stuff. It's all there. Otherwise, I'll be watching this stuff today. Make sure we do get a little bit of a hold going on over here for Bitcoin, that this was a breakout, a back test. Same goes for total market cap over here, that it was just a breakout and a back test, which of course you can barely see over here when we put on the daily time frame. You put it over here on the 8-hour time frame. Starts to make a little bit more sense that we finally got out of there. And then now we're checking it back for support to confirm that it is a support. Exciting to see Ethereum starting to take some moves. Finally, it's been so still for so long. Good to see it moving. And we'll check in on it again tomorrow as we get ready for Friday and we get ready for the end of the week. Otherwise, exciting to see Bitcoin finally getting back up into the retracement levels. Now just waiting for the rest of the market to grab hold and say our turn. And maybe Ethereum gave a signal of that today. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you're looking for more content from me, you can check out bcbacker.com. I've got over 40 videos on here with over 11 hours of content that I recorded myself. So if you like the YouTube channel, if you like the way I deliver content on here, I deliver it very similar over here on bcbacker.com. It's not PowerPoint presentations. It's just like what you see over here on YouTube. Talking a lot about how to set up your own charts and your indicators and teaching you about accumulations, Elliott wave theory, all that good stuff, along with a lot of historical behavior of the cryptocurrency market and other things that helped improve odds, and talking about tokenomics and inflation and crowd behavior, meme coins, and, well, emotional management. It includes downloadable spreadsheets in here too, or downloadable PDFs so you can print them out for yourself. It's $39 one time, no subscription fees, and that's it. Over here on bcbacker.com. I also do write a newsletter over here. The most recent one talks about developer activity coins versus the coins by top market cap, to show that in 2021, the ones that had higher development activity actually ended up being the better performing group than if you went shopping through the top 20 by market cap. So we do a case study in here, and then we go through what are the coins currently right now are the top ones by development activity. You can check that out over here on blockchainbacker.substack.com. I do also do an audio voiceover of that. I record it myself. It's over 30 minutes long. It's the longest one I've ever done. These are normally like 12 to 18 minutes, but if you'd like to hear my silky smooth voice read the article to you, I can do that as well here with a 30-minute audio voiceover. There's a link down here in the description to bcbacker.com and to my Substack or newsletter down here in the description of this video and in all of my videos. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll check in on it tomorrow, and hopefully we have confirmed a support here and a breakout and a backtest, and all is well in the universe tomorrow. But we'll see. Check you guys then. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.